We are about to witness not one, but the sun gods, Nika, fighting side by side for the first time in history. The 900-year-old Iron Giant has awakened and unleashed the most epic punch ever. Before we get into the main event, I urge all 500 of you to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on notifications, so you don't miss any exciting episodes of this anime, One Piece. The broadcast signal is gone. Vegapunk's voice has also disappeared right at the climax of his speech. The whole world descends into chaos as they try to figure out what happened to the genius scientist. People are buzzing, wondering if he was just logged out by the Marines for daring to expose the world government. But the real culprits could be the Straw Hat crew, since they kidnapped him in the first place. In Alabasta, the entire nation still can't accept this harsh reality. They don't understand why the government would eliminate a great genius like Vegapunk. But there's still one thing they don't know. The world government did the same thing to King Cobra. The Five Elders' act of turning black into white is proceeding smoothly. Luffy, at this moment, is facing a wave of criticism. Even Leo, one of the captains of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, suspects him of assassinating Vegapunk. Rebecca, standing beside him, can only sigh, "Oh, Leo, that hero once stood shoulder to shoulder with us to save this entire country. So why do you keep believing in baseless rumors and wrongly accusing the whole Straw Hat crew?" We return to the seas around Egghead. All the marine warships are in disarray as they witness Warcury in his demonic boar form. This giant monster stands tall, blocking out everything around it. The Marines are pale-faced because witnessing the Five Elders transform has broken all the rules. If they just stand there frozen, they will surely lose their lives here. The Five Elders contact York directly. They get straight to the point, asking how many other Vegapunks are connected to punk records besides her. York accesses the system and checks the information. Two names appear, Lilith number 2 and Atlas number 5. York immediately reports back. Lilith is very close, while Atlas is on the northeast coast. The Five Elders don't hesitate for a second. They both must be eliminated at all costs. Mars reconfirms his calculations. Punk Records is designed to continuously expand, allowing it to store new knowledge even after Vegapunk is gone. If York survives and joins the government, they will officially gain access to the massive archives of the brilliant scientist. At this moment, Kaku is urging Stussy to leave immediately. He asks if she anticipated the situation and scoffs at their friendship. The things Stussy said to Edison were just her own thoughts. This friendship never really existed, or if it did, it was just professional respect. Nothing can change the minds of CPO, because she has betrayed them. Stussy sobs, trying to explain, but Kaku cuts her off loudly. Don't say anything else. Just leave before Rob Lucci gets here. As the footsteps fade, Kaku tries to suppress the true emotions hidden deep inside. On the Giant's ship, Dory, Brogy, and Luffy are celebrating their successful rival. Everyone's face shows relief. Bonnie does something quite interesting, for the first time. She calls the rubber brain guy Luffy instead of Straw Hat like usual. Frankie and Sanji are looking up at the two massive captains. Luffy runs around the ship, amazed by how big everything is. He asks where his crewmates are, but first, they need to prepare a lot of food for a good feast. The two tiny vice admirals are screaming orders for the Marines to keep firing. These are Doll and Bluegrass, shrunken after being hit by Bonnie's power. With this many warships, they believe the Straw Hats will have a hard time escaping. But the giant warrior pirates don't think so. They just need one push to break through the pincer formation. The Marines start to worry about their other two commanders. What can they do when they're so small? Bluegrass may hate being shrunken, but even she is impressed by the power of Bonnie's devil fruit. That kid is only 12. Imagine how powerful she'll be when she grows up. Bonnie stands there with a gun, taunting the Marines for failing at her hands. Luffy is excited to party with his giant friends. Sanji calls Nami, informing her that their group is about to leave the island. Nami promises to follow. Edison's sacrifice has given them an escape route via the clouds leading to the sea, but Noose Juro is getting close. Nami says they need help landing on the sea surface if he continues to cause trouble. Sanji immediately agrees, declaring that protecting Nami, Robin, and Lilith is his top priority. He says that even if the ship sinks, nothing can stop him from saving the three beauties. Usopp is furious because Sanji didn't even mention the guys. Frankie vows to protect the Thousand Sunny at all costs. Are these two even human? Just then, Mars appears in his transformed state. Sanji watches grimly from a distance. Bonnie realizes they are about to face this troublesome monster. Meanwhile, Luffy has quickly befriended the Giant's cook. The Giant was warned about Luffy's bottomless stomach and prepared a mountain of food, but he didn't expect it to be gone in seconds. Luffy apologizes, explaining that if he wants to use Gear 5 again, he needs to recharge with a lot of energy. He even tells the cook, "Please cook a lot more, because this isn't enough to fill me up." Mars unleashes a destructive beam of fire. The Giants raise their shields to protect their tiny friends, but the fire spreads, threatening their sails. The Marines are bewildered to see the giant firebirds suddenly change direction and attack the pirates. Bonnie shouts, trying to thank the Giants while insisting they should move Vegapunk and Kumar to a safer place. Lilith agrees. Dory and Brogy are annoyed that another troublemaker has shown up. Right at that moment, Frankie feels something very unusual. The entire ocean and everything touching them begins to bounce to a rhythm. The Marines think it's an earthquake. Luffy, after recharging, transforms into Nika once again. The island is shaking. The Marines wonder if what Vegapunk said is true. The water level is bouncing like a spring. But Mars realizes what's happening and shifts his focus elsewhere. Luffy spots Bonnie and excitedly calls her name. Bonnie is shocked. Isn't that the sun god Nika that Papa used to talk about? Luffy doesn't understand what she's saying. Dory and Brogy are dancing to the rhythm of the drums of liberation. But Brogy insists someone has to stop dancing to put out the fire. Luffy convinces Bonnie to team up and crush the monster. She doubts her own abilities, but Luffy says they shouldn't hesitate. Even though he doesn't understand Bonnie's true power, he is sure she can do it. That encouragement gives her strength. Bonnie remembers what he said about transformation. That is the form of the sun god Nika, when he is completely free. And so, Bonnie activates her distorted future. Kuma's body remains motionless as we see his promise to Ginny. Don't worry, our baby is free now. Tanikas soar into the sky. The drums of liberation have resounded everywhere. Luffy grins, happy to have a new companion. The Marines have no idea what's going on. Mars suddenly feels less confident. Luffy and Bonnie are ready to fight the 5 elders elsewhere. The drums of liberation make Warcury and Jupiter feel extremely uncomfortable. There's something very unusual on the coast over there. We need to act as quickly as possible to get there and help. Bonnie is admiring her new Nika form. Luffy is laughing heartily. The Elbaf giants are overjoyed to finally witness the warrior of liberation with their own eyes. St. Mars growls, realizing that Tanikas are indeed a tough opponent. But it doesn't take long for him to realize that Bonnie has copied the form. Thanks to her devil fruit, Mars launches a fierce attack to remind them not to get too confident. The 5 elders all possess immortal bodies. How can they be defeated? Luffy jumps up, inflating like a giant balloon. He takes the full force of the attack, and it's clearly extremely painful. His plan is to have his comrades throw him at the enemy with all their might. Sanji and Frankie agree to follow their captain's orders. Sanji even seems quite excited. Meanwhile, Bonnie feels uneasy about the Straw Hats' plan. Dory tells the Straw Hats to leave the fire to them. Brogy then scolds the crew for dancing in such an urgent situation. He orders them to put out the fire and move the ship quickly. The other giants look shocked. Their captain was clearly just dancing too. Luffy looks incredibly powerful. He grabs the 5 elders' wings, urging his comrades to hurry while he holds the monster. Sanji, Frankie, and Bonnie prepare to unleash their most powerful attack. Bonnie even coats her own version of the elephant gun in Haki. The 3 of them launch a combined punch into Luffy's back. He yells out, looking to be in extreme pain. Bonnie is horrified, as she thought the sun god Nika was tougher than anything. But that punch was coated in Haki, and even a rubber body can feel pain. St. Mars feels the immense impact of this attack. It's obvious, as they all used Haki and aimed straight for him. But wait a minute, did Frankie awaken Haki too? Sanji tells Bonnie not to hold back. The cyborg says to keep going as if they were crushing their captain. Bonnie is confused, not understanding what they are planning. Luffy continues to take the attack. The terrifying force makes Mars suffocate. The ultimate technique, Gamu Gamu no Dawn Bald, is unleashed, sending the Birdman flying like a rocket. Luffy is happy to have returned the favor to the monster. Sanji says it's finally time to leave, but Luffy wonders about the rest of their crewmates. According to Sanji, they should have landed by now, but why haven't they seen the ship yet? Atlas volunteers to check the situation. Sanji panics and tries to stop her. Atlas now realizes York might be watching them. If so, then Lilith is in trouble. And Vegapunk's voice once again emanates from within the Iron Giant. The transponder snail suddenly wakes up after a long sleep. The broadcast is back. Vegapunk mentions something that is now gone. He is specifically talking about the will of D, but why is the scientist mentioning this? That's right, we missed important information about the will of D. Vivi and Morgans are shocked as the broadcast returns. York contacts the 5 elders, telling them that the transmission was only interrupted, not stopped completely. The memory and mental waves of the transponder snail are still active. To stop it, they need to destroy both, on this side. Vegapunk can only pray that his message will reach those suffering from the destruction. Sadly, the most important information was cut off mid-sentence. Back on Egghead, Luffy is shocked by what he sees overhead. Everything is falling from the sky. Everyone wonders what is happening, but the Marines quickly realize it's not rain. It's debris from buildings and CPO agents falling. The Seraphim are here too. They must capture them before it's too late. Luffy tells the giants that the damn worm is spitting them out like a water fountain. Dory is worried it will chase them, insisting they must keep a great distance. Just then, Jupiter shifts his attention. The worm monster tries to suck the ancient ship into its giant mouth. Everyone struggles to hold onto the mast. Luffy rushes towards Jupiter's face, delivering a thunderous punch. The fans below are continuously cheering for their hero. Then, Saint Warcury in his boar form also rushes forward, heading straight for the great Elbaf ship. Luffy shouts to the others, the boar's hide is really tough. The giant warrior captains know this mythical creature well. They frantically order their crew to move faster. Unfortunately, Bonnie can't help, as she has returned to her original form. Being free like Nika is really tiring. Luffy reacts to something stirring deep in the ocean. As Dory and Brogy scream in fear because the ship is about to be rammed, it finally emerges. The giant's fist is about to make contact with Saint Warcury's avatar. It's so powerful that it shatters the old man's super hard tusk. From there, we hear the voice of the pirate Joy Boy, who has awakened it. In the past, he told the robot that it must appear at the most opportune time. And that moment is now. Today's One Piece episode is absolutely insane. Atlas is about to make a heroic sacrifice to protect the Straw Hat Pirates. Bonnie finally gets her moment of revenge for her tragic family, unleashing a devastating blow straight into Saturn's mouth. Luffy, standing behind, cheers her on with all his might. Tears of happiness fall. Bonnie, in this moment, has achieved her own freedom. To 6 years ago, when Punk Hazard hadn't yet become a frozen and fiery hellscape, Vegapunk was conducting experiments when Professor Clover suddenly appeared before him. The old man practically knelt, begging Vegapunk to join him in researching the Void Century, which had existed for hundreds of years. Despite the government's prohibition, Clover was determined not to stop. He said that the truths of the past could not be buried forever, but Vegapunk refused to cooperate. He stated bluntly that he served the world government, and touching that forbidden subject was like signing his own death warrant. Clover continued to persuade him, then mentioned something he had never dared to tell anyone before. It turns out, Clover's real name was Cloudy Clover. His biological brother carried the initial D and was murdered right before his eyes. Just because of that letter in his name, Vegapunk was stunned. Clover explained that he had to bite the bullet and lie, calling his brother a friend to avoid being executed himself. After that, Vegapunk left, saying he would pretend this conversation never happened, as he didn't want to get involved. Vegapunk only wished him a safe journey. Clover still didn't want to give up. He shouted after him that the call of the past was echoing from afar, trying to communicate with everyone. And when O'Hara discovered something, Vegapunk would no longer be able to ignore it. 4 years later, which is 22 years before the current time, a report from the West Blue stated that O'Hara had been attacked by a Buster Call and completely destroyed. Vegapunk was devastated by the news of his friend's death. Staring at the wanted poster of the child, Robin, he felt a deep sorrow, as all of Clover's efforts had turned to dust. A few months later, Vegapunk went to O'Hara and saw Dragon and the giants transporting thousands of books. Vegapunk understood that Clover could have escaped but chose to stay. Tears fell from his eyes as he wondered if this research was worth such a price. But it was that very sacrifice that made him decide to join the search for the truth. A 25-year journey that led to today's broadcast. Back in the present, the broadcast signal from Egghead is no longer intermittent. Vegapunk repeats Clover's words, the call from the past is echoing, and they can hear it. He adds that history always records the names of the victors, which means the perspectives of the losers must be erased. Everyone listens intently. Robin tries to hold back her emotions as painful memories of a life of abandonment and scorn resurface. It truly hasn't been easy. Vegapunk continues, the truths unearthed by the flesh and blood of O'Hara. Today I will tell all, and I hope everyone understands it all. Our genius scientist has sacrificed himself. The last thing he wanted to do was share this forbidden knowledge with the world. What moves me is that Robin once thought she was the only survivor left to protect O'Hara's legacy. Now, Vegapunk has spoken up for her, confirming before the entire world that O'Hara was right. On the research floor, Zoro anxiously urges everyone to leave. There isn't much time before Noose Juro attacks again, but Lilith explains that they are trapped. The Sunny has a limited Kudi burst range. If the old bone horse interferes even a little, they will fall to the ground and the ship will be shattered. Suddenly, Atlas flies in from behind and punches Lilith straight in the face. Zoro, Usopp, and Chopper are stunned. Why would she attack her own sister? Down below, Vice Admiral Hound receives a flood of reports. A giant snake, a massive boar, a mutant firebird, and now a robot rising from the sea. They are all fighting each other. But what the hell is going on? Luffy searches his memory and realizes that the giant robot is the same piece of scrap metal from Vegapunk's junkyard, and he is absolutely ecstatic with excitement. Frankie and the giants are just as thrilled because it has actually been activated. Then the robot speaks, calling Luffy Joy Boy. It expresses its happiness at being reunited with its master. Luffy looks confused, thinking maybe Jupiter said something irrelevant. But the robot clarifies that it was the one who just spoke. Today, Vegapunk admits that his broadcast only covers a small perspective of the 900-year-old conflict. The robot declares it is returned, just like before. Joy Boy's enemy is its enemy. It feels great joy at the opportunity to fight alongside Joy Boy once again. Luffy simply thinks it's cool to have a talking robot. The battle erupts again. Emeth vows to protect its master at all costs this time. Warcury screams about wiping out all enemies. He reiterates that Vegapunk's message will only end when the thing in front of them is defeated. The crews of the pirate and giant warrior ships prepare to set sail. Brogy asks Luffy if that big metal friend is an ally. Luffy denies it. It just keeps repeating that it has to protect its master, some guy named Joy Boy. But I have no idea who that dude is. The giants reply that they actually didn't hear the robot say anything. Luffy is surprised. The one it mentioned. Could it be me? Although Bonnie is exhausted, her Devil Fruit's power still affects Vice Admiral Bluegrass. The shrunken Marine orders her forces to fire on the fleeing ship before them. On the broadcast, Vegapunk advocates for examining the past through all lenses and wishes he had more time. But currently, there are those who have acted to destroy this broadcast. Jupiter's giant mouth opens as the Iron Giant raises its hand to counterattack. Frankie and Sanji are fired up. They wonder just how incredibly powerful this robot is. St. Peter's Saturn charges, and the Iron Giant's weapon system suddenly malfunctions. Luffy and Frankie scream their lungs out to warn it, but they are a step too late. The robot's entire left arm disappears into Peter's throat. Only the right arm remains, but it continues to fight to protect the giant ship. Saturn charges, ordering the long Peter to finish them off. He leaps high, landing straight on the giant's head. The clear target is Bonnie and Kumar. These two annoyances must be eliminated at all costs. Cut to the battle in the clouds. Atlas does something that causes a cracking sound, then turns to the Straw Hats, asking them to take care of Lilith for her. The decision has been made. She trusts them to escape with Lilith. Atlas tells everyone to launch the ship. She guarantees she will clear all obstacles. Before anyone can even understand what's happening, York immediately reports to the 5 elders that Lilith has just been disconnected. From the Punk records, the final target is Atlas. Eliminate that damn brat, and I will officially become Vegapunk. Nami tells Zoro to quickly bring Lilith inside the ship. Noose Juro begins to charge. Before he can answer any questions, Atlas has to warp to fight the Elder. Jim takes the helm. He knows that a single second's delay will bring regret to them all. Brooke receives the order to activate the Coup D-Burst. The Thousand Sunny will face a life or death challenge in a few seconds. Atlas has jumped next to Noose Juro. He swings his sword, and her arm is severed. Not giving up, Atlas strikes with her remaining arm, determined to send him flying far away, clearing a path for the Sunny to dash forward. Sanji spots the ship falling from above. Zoro yells for everyone to hold on tight because they're about to crash. All the members wonder if they'll survive. Looking up at the sky, Atlas, though defeated, smiles brighter than the star number 97. She has a gift she wants to give to the fans. And then, boom, Atlas self-destructs before everyone's eyes. The explosion creates a propulsive force, launching the Straw Hat Pirates forward. Chopper and Usopp mournfully realize Atlas just saved their lives. York is ecstatic because the plan to eliminate the satellites has succeeded beautifully. On the livestream, Vegapunk mentions that Gol D. Roger traveled the world. He must have heard the purest voice echoing from the past, which is why he could predict future events. Back on Egghead, St. Noose Juro has regenerated his body after the explosion. Saturn knows Stella is still alive. She must be eliminated to silence her. Warcurie and Jupiter also coordinate their attack. Their mission is to destroy this giant robot. Emeth admits that after centuries, its body is rusted. But if that's the case, it perfectly matches the moment that Joy Boy predicted long ago. It wonders if it can activate its power, hoping that weapon can truly defeat the 5 elders. Vegapunk is certain that the Roger Pirates absorbed the entire true history. He asserts that everyone listening has come to the same conclusion, hoping that understanding will shape future decisions. But for now, the scientists can only offer a few speculations. Saturn charges down to the giant ship. Luffy warns everyone about the poisonous legs coming at them. They raise their shields to block. Luffy is about to throw a punch but stops when he spots Bonnie below, trying to maintain a Nika form. His expression changes as Saturn attacks. Luffy blocks with a Haki-infused counterattack. This child must be protected at all costs, seizing the opportunity. Bonnie activates Distorted Future, wanting to transform again. The fact that she can transform into Nika infuriates Saturn. She's panting but refuses to give up. Luffy's free smile gives her immense motivation. Then, Vegapunk makes a shocking announcement. The memories of the Void Century will be revived one day not far from now. When it comes, all the secrets buried in the past will be revealed. He doesn't say the information will leak gradually. He says it will all pour out at once. We see Shirahoshi and Vivi are still listening intently. Vegapunk explains that the ancient weapons that once submerged the world are still active. This is all part of someone's plan. Furthermore, the remnants of ancient races are continuously being pushed to the brink of extinction. All because history has been hidden. We see a vague flashback of Vegapunk with Kumar, the last remaining bloodline of the Buccaneer. Race was used for experiments. King reflects on his encounter with Kaido, just by providing information about the Lunarian race. The captain could have had 100 million berries, but he didn't do it. Marco remembers Whitebeard mentioning a divine kingdom that once existed in Mary Jiwas. That could be King's homeland. Pudding, in the past, was ostracized just for being from the Three-Eyed Tribe. Back on Egghead, Bonnie in her Nika form is preparing to counterattack. Saturn scoffs that she's just a cheap copy. Luffy doesn't care about his monologue. Let's go, Bonnie. Show him what the god Nika is made of. He continuously blocks attacks to clear a path for her. Saturn's rage grows in proportion to Luffy's ever-widening smile. Bonnie's resolve is strengthened as memories of Kumar flood her mind. The Buccaneer race only deserves to be slaves. Their only end is death. Bonnie is contemptuous because he himself conducted experiments that turned her mother into a form that was neither human nor monster. You 5 elders are not worthy of being called gods. When Bonnie was a child, she used to dance the Nika dance with Kumar. She was taught that that man was the true god of this world, and her father, who always protected her, was the strongest hero. Bonnie breaks down and cries. Her dream was for her family of 3 to be happy together. It's been so long since she's seen her father. She just wanted to end her own life because she was so lonely. But now, she decides to live on. Her parents sacrificed so much for her to have this day. Luffy retreats far back, leaving the stage for Bonnie to shine. Saturn launches a deadly attack, but Luffy blocks it with a full Haki fist. Now, nothing can stop her. Bonnie uses all her strength to deliver the most powerful punch she ever has. This is the punch that releases all the frustration for the freedom her family should have had, but lost. All because of him, her little home was shattered. Luffy follows up with countless more blows straight to Saturn's face. His immortal body is riddled with holes. The 5 elders are officially defeated at the hands of 2 Nika gods. Finally, this moment has come. The strongest Conqueror's Haki in history, stored for 900 years by Joy Boy, is officially released to fulfill this sacred mission. The power is so immense that even Aimu and Mary Chiwas can feel it. He screams in despair as his plan crumbles once again. But that's not all. Emmett's flashback also reveals the moving connection between Joy Boy and his loyal comrade. An episode that is absolutely top tier, unmissable. Before we start, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single One Piece episode. In the previous episode, Vegapunk's flashback showed the death of Professor Clover and O'Hara. This spurred him to conduct a live broadcast to expose all the truths. However, Atlas sacrificed everything, self-destructing to launch the Sunny to safety. The Iron Giant keeps calling Luffy Joy Boy while he remains confused. Not knowing who it's talking about, Vegapunk announces that the end of the world is near. He reveals all the secrets of the Void Century. The story ends with Bonnie and Luffy attacking together, devastating Saint Saturn with a beautiful combination attack, leaving his body full of holes and falling straight into the ocean. So, right after the brutal attack aimed straight at Saturn, the giant pirates erupt in celebration. Bonnie loses control, her emotions overflowing as she breaks down in tears. She herself defeated the demon that massacred her family. Luffy laughs manically, praising Bonnie's performance. Kuma's face shows a faint smile as he witnesses his daughter stand up against the wicked, who abuse their power. Dory and Brogy suddenly notice something falling from above. It's the Thousand Sunny. Usopp is screaming his head off, begging to be rescued because he can't take this much longer. They desperately need landing support. Zoro grips his sword, sensing something approaching. Vegapunk's broadcast continues. He declares that those who keep moving forward, never flinching, are the ones most likely to discover this truth. He poses a question. Were these situations randomly arranged? Or was Roger a pawn in that god's entire plan? The Pirate King simply activated it through the final moments of his life. Or perhaps there are still calculations we can't possibly know. Shaggy puts a blanket over a drunk Rayla. Pirates across the seas celebrate wildly. One Piece, the dream they've always been searching for, still exists on the final island. Vegapunk declares there is absolutely no guarantee that the one who finds the treasure will be suitable for Joy Boy's wishes. That statement carries weight when considering who is racing towards it. On Hachinosu, the crew grows restless in Blackbeard's absence. On the Red Force, the crew members are scolding Shanks because their captain has had too much to drink. Shut up, this much is nothing for my tolerance. At the Cross Guild headquarters on Kare Bari Island, the members are still praising the great Lord Buggy. He is completely bewildered by everyone's sudden admiration. They praise him for rising above all. Buggy has no idea what triggered this bizarre event. Lola's crew declares they understand the weight and grand dream of their captain. This pirate world was created by me. Crocodile and Mihawk frown. They both know this clown is just bluffing. Now, you great captain, get your ass over here and let's talk for a bit. Vegapunk declares this coming future is, in fact, unavoidable. The fate of the world is at stake. Whoever finds One Piece will decide everything. Then we see a blue screen flash by Luffy, Blackbird, Buggy, Akainu, Dragon, the shadow of a mysterious swordsman, Aimu, Kobe, Aokiji, St. Garling, and Sabo. What I notice is that each one represents a completely different future. Aimu represents the tyranny of the government. Dragon represents revolution. The Red Dog, Akainu, represents the justice of the Marines. Luffy, Blackbird, and Shanks represent the chaos of the pirate faction. And Buggy is definitely a clown. The world reels from Vegapunk's declaration that fate lies in the hands of pirates. People from many islands are panicking, but the pirates are going wild hearing that One Piece is real and greater than they imagined. And impelled down, criminals are foaming at the mouth, wanting to be a part of this plan. Pirates always want to overthrow the current order. A jailer wonders why the prisoners are being allowed to hear the broadcast. Another explains that the signal has hijacked all the transponder snails in the prison. With their current abilities, they can't possibly turn them off. Many Marines feel betrayed, cursing that bastard Vegapunk. Kobe remembers his initial conversation with Luffy about getting One Piece and becoming the Pirate King. He is determined to stop his friend from achieving his dream, while still lying in his sick. Our pink-haired leopard is becoming the next version of Garp right before everyone's eyes. Somewhere on the Grand Line, Katarina Devon calls Lafitte, wondering what to do with Caribou. Caribou promises to share valuable information. Luffy seems pleased. He tells them to bring him back. If the information is disappointing, Luffy himself will personally deal with Caribou. Vegapunk's broadcast continues, aiming to affirm his statements as truth. Vegapunk mentions Joy Boy, but the signal is interrupted when Warcury attacks Emeth. The giant robot tries to apologize to Joy Boy, even though its body is no longer intact. Luffy is worried for the friend who is trying to protect them. Emeth also offers an apology to Luffy. It knows Joy Boy is no longer alive, but for some reason, it still assumes that person is him. Luffy asks the robot if it has mistaken him for another AI. Emeth agrees, declaring that Luffy looks exactly like Joy Boy. It feels nostalgic for that day. Saturn regenerates his body. Emeth hopes Joy Boy will forgive his mistakes. 4 of the 5 elders have all gathered very close by. Emeth laments its failure to make Joy Boy the king, which only confuses Luffy more. Emeth asks for the name of the friend before it. Luffy gives his signature introduction. I'm Monkey D. Luffy, the man who will become the king of the pirates. That D makes Emeth excited. So this is the moment. Emeth is seen pulling a strange string from within itself. A surge of power wells up. The Iron Giant begins to chuckle to itself as the power radiates outward. Luffy realizes this is Conqueror's Haki. Many Marines collapse. Emeth thanks Luffy for letting it hear the drums of liberation one last time. What's incredible is that Joy Boy had bottled his own Conqueror's Haki inside Emeth 900 years ago, waiting for this exact moment to unleash it. The Haki spreads across the entire island. Emeth tells Luffy not to die. It won't let him die. The power is felt from everywhere. The entire fleet is neutralized. Vice Admiral Dahl strains against the force. Pomsky wonders where this immense power is coming from. The relentless power is flowing from the direction of the strange string. The 5 elders are hit by the full force. Their monster forms are instantly nullified. They retreat back to the Holy Land, Mary Jiwas. 3 of them have already landed, while Mars wants to go there to quell this trouble. But look, Aimu is kneeling and screaming. A servant rushes to help. Aimu is panting, trembling from sensing the presence of Joy Boy after so many centuries. He now has to endure this nightmare. Whatever connects Aimu and Joy Boy is so deep that just sensing the Haki ignites a fire of hatred. This isn't about power. This is fear of a great trouble he once experienced. The Sunny finally hits the water. Luffy is overjoyed to see they're okay. The crew wonders what happened to the monsters. Luffy has no idea. Dory and Brogy can't believe what they're seeing. A robot with Haki so strong. It sent the 5 elders flying. The Straw Hat Pirates are happy to be reunited, but sadly, Atlas and Edison have sacrificed themselves for them. Over here, Emeth is reliving the past. 900 years ago. Back then, Joy Boy told it to wait for the right time, and he would focus his Haki and tie it into a knot inside Emeth's body. Because it was made of iron, it could still exist then. But he could not. Joy Boy admitted he couldn't always be there to help Emeth. Joy Boy said that at some point, either when Emeth was in danger or when someone it wanted to save was in danger, it should use this knot. In the present, our Iron Giant has kept its promise, if you look closely. Emeth has an X symbol on its hand. We've seen this X symbol before in Alabasta, when the Straw Hat Pirates parted ways with Vivi. It represents an eternal connection, an absolute trust in one's comrades. And it is also a farewell. Right after the explosive moment from the Iron Giant, the entire Marine fleet surrounding Egghead is blown away in an instant. Joy Boy's Conqueror's Haki from centuries past surges out like a tsunami, crushing the will of every enemy present. The power that has lain dormant for 900 years has finally awakened. In a flash, the battlefield descends into total chaos. Vice Admiral Pomsky collapses on the spot, his body unable to withstand the immense pressure. Vice Admiral Dahl suffers a similar fate. She has completely lost her ability to fight. The Marine forces are officially paralyzed. Over on the side, a giant quickly grabs his binoculars to observe and shouts, "Report. The blockade has been broken. The Marine ships can no longer maintain formation. This is the perfect chance to escape the island." Dory is speechless, witnessing this scene with his own eyes. He is certain that the robot's Haki surpasses even Shanks' level-renowned Yonko, famous for having the most monstrous Conqueror's Haki of the current era. This means that Joy Boy's legacy truly still stands at the pinnacle of the world. Meanwhile, Luffy is grinning like a kid who just got a lucky money envelope. He shouts his thanks to the Iron Giant at the top of his lungs. Luffy immediately understands the robot's great sacrifice and can't hide his gratitude. S-Snake frantically calls for the Marines to wake up. She needs them to release the chains because Luffy and his crew are about to leave. At all costs, I must speak with that person one more time. Dory and Brogy simultaneously order a retreat, declaring it's time to leave before the Marines wake up. Luffy sprints at full speed toward the Sunny, dashing across the disintegrating battlefield. The giant warriors roar in excitement. Finally, the dream of returning to Elbaf is about to become a reality. The moment Luffy sets foot on the Sunny, he collapses. His body reverts to a wrinkled old man form. The Sun God is completely exhausted after being in Gear 5 for over 180 minutes. Nami and Brook are stunned to see this state. Usopp, however, isn't paying much attention. His eyes are currently glued on Brogy and Dory, the 2 heroes he has always admired. Luffy rests comfortably in Nami's arms, while Usopp shouts to Jim that their next destination is Elbaf. They need to speed up to catch up with the giant warriors. The scene shifts to the headquarters of the news magnate, Morgan's. He is eager to reclaim his position as the king of news. He orders his subordinates to paint the bleakest picture possible to sell today's papers. Vivi, standing beside him, is starting to get irritated. She argues that Vegapunk wanted to bring hope, while he is intentionally trying to crush it. While Paul watches nervously, Morgans threatens Vivi, saying if she doesn't know her place, he will be the one to reveal her current location. But Vivi bluntly calls him a liar. Your brain is as empty as a bird's. Morgans laughs sinisterly, believing that even the truth can be distorted for him to dominate the world of information. When the new headlines about the Yonko fighting and Vegapunk's death start spreading, you'll be the one to regret daring to insult such an illustrious figure. But is calling him a bird brain an insult? It's the truth, after all. And calling him a liar is also accurate, because Morgans was the one who spread the false rumor about Luffy assassinating Vegapunk. Cut back to Egghead. The entire marine force surrounding the island is still unconscious. Even when Fleet Admiral Akainu repeatedly demands a report, none of them respond. Sentomaru quietly leaves the island in a small boat. That tough man can't hold back his tears. Egghead, once a dream of the future, is now just a desolate ruin. Kizaru walks among the fallen soldiers, the voice of Akainu still ringing in his ears from the Den Mushi. Picking up the receiver with a calm demeanor, Kizaru frankly admits that everyone was knocked out by the robot's Conqueror's Haki. Akainu immediately asks about Saint Saturn's situation, about the power plant, and if any targets managed to escape the island. But Kizaru refuses to answer. He says that basic information should be reported by lower-ranking soldiers when they wake up. The Red Dog, Akainu, gets furious, accusing the Yellow Monkey of being negligent in his duties. At this moment, Kizaru asks a question in return that leaves Akainu speechless. Have you ever had to kill your own best friend? This is the crucial point. Kizaru just went through that terrible experience. He remembers the first time he met Vegapunk, the man with the greatest mind in the world. Vegapunk back then didn't ask about ideals or politics. He only asked how much they would pay for an intellect that was far beyond humanity's comprehension. Kizaru once found that amusing, but years later, he was the one standing beside Vegapunk to build Egghead. Together, they created an island 500 years ahead of its time. It was a rare moment in Kizaru's life where he felt he was doing the right thing. And then, he destroyed it all with his own hands. Egghead burns, extinguishing all hope. Vegapunk dies at the hands of his old friend, overwhelmed by emotion. Kizaru tells Akainu straight up, if you still have doubts, then drag yourself over here and see this sight with your own eyes. Akainu is silent for a long time. He has never seen the Yellow Monkey angry before. This is probably the first time. The Red Dog has to apologize and admit he was a bit out of line. On the Thousand Sunny, Sanji starts to question what Vegapunk had mentioned. A particular detail makes him feel uneasy. The story flashes back to 2 weeks before the disaster. Shaka detects abnormal readings from the power plant. The energy is fluctuating chaotically, and the Seraphime's consumption rates are spiking uncontrollably. These bioweapons are supposed to operate on a stable model, but the data shows completely erroneous parameters. The truth slowly comes to light. The Mother Flame has been stolen by someone. The world's most dangerous energy source has been accessed illegally somewhere outside the Grand Line. All data in the Egghead system has been subtly altered, and the most terrifying conclusion emerges. Only another Vegapunk, one of the 7, could have done this. There's a traitor, and Egghead is facing a dangerous situation. Vegapunk's suspicion immediately falls on Lilith. The 3 of them, Shaka, Pythagoras, and Stella, activate stealth mode, completely disconnecting from Punk records. Fast forward another week in this flashback. Pythagoras rushes in to report the truth. It's not Lilith. York is behind everything. She has been fabricating her memory uploads to their shared database. Evidence at every crime scene points to her tampering. Vegapunk silently apologizes to Lilith for wrongly suspecting her. They discover that 2 mechanical sea beasts have been deployed without authorization. Additionally, there's a Den Mushi being used for jamming signals. Digging into the communication logs on the main memory, they play back the deleted recordings from the previous week. Inside is York's voice. She has been snitching about the Void Century research the other Vegapunks were conducting. This is why this matters. York traded their lives to climb the hierarchy and become a celestial dragon. The next day, news of Lelouch's annihilation quickly reaches them. Vegapunk immediately orders surveillance on sea levels and all transmissions. His mind is racing to the horrifying conclusion about what just happened. Vegapunk is certain that a portion of the Mother Flame has reached Mary Jiwas. The government is powering an ancient weapon with his creation. So, that proud technology has just destroyed a part of the world. A sense of guilt crashes down as he blames his own greed for creating York. Evacuation preparations begin for all the citizens on Egghead Island. Except for the Vegapunks, everyone must leave this place. After considering everything, Vegapunk knows he must die, because the government will not spare those who dare to research the Void Century. Fleeing is useless. It's better to stay and buy time to expose the true face of the corrupt ruling powers. Their counterplan includes transmitting all the crucial information from O'Hara to every corner of the world. The Cloud Factory is the most important thing to make this happen. Rising sea levels could end civilization without it. A few more days pass. Yor coincidentally meets Vegapunk at the scrapyard. He is sitting on the Iron Giant's shoulder, acting as if nothing has happened. It's 2 days before the chaos erupts. Vegapunk has finished recording his message to the whole world. The broadcasting snail is hidden very carefully inside the robot itself. The transmission will automatically activate when his heart stops. Now for the craziest part. The 3 of them go to the research lab and erase their own memories. The memories of the past 2 weeks are voluntarily wiped from their minds. In less than a minute, they wake up and wonder what they just did. Pulling out a piece of paper, Vegapunk reads the written instructions, briefly explaining the situation and warning about the government's plot. A counterplan has been prepared. Live happily as usual, and when the time comes, die. At this moment, Bonnie's ship has docked. Cypher Paul is also present. The naval siege, led by Kizaru and Saint Saturn, is announced. The Straw Hat crew has appeared. Vegapunk's predictions are manifesting exactly 100%. But when Vegapunk wants to personally rescue Bonnie, that's also when he reveals his final wish. Vegapunk explains that his sacrifice will trigger something very important. He himself doesn't know what it is for, but perhaps the world needs it. Sanji refuses to accept the idea of watching someone intentionally walk to their death. It's tearing him apart. Then, the shocking reveal is dropped. Vegapunk directly mentions the One Piece and suggests that the Straw Hat crew, at all costs, must obtain the great treasure. Luffy and Usopp are celebrating wildly with the giant warriors. The next destination is Elbaf. The moment of setting foot on Usopp's dream island is approaching. Goodbye, Egghead, with all its mixed memories of joy and sorrow.